Hello, I'm Gator McKlusky, and this is the Burt Reynolds story. Chapter 4.
Well, Gator McKlusky is sitting on a stump with the hammer pulled back on a 12-gauge pump. Watching that swamp, looking out for the law. Well, it makes the best corn that you ever saw. Right, good, whiskey.
I had the best time. You know, if I met you between 1973 and 78, I'm sorry. For 13 years, I was ranked among the top box office stars in the world, something no one else had ever done before. But starting in 1977, I began a 5-year stretch at #1 that was extraordinary. It was a wonderful feeling, an honor that was beyond anything I ever thought could happen.
Burt's follow-up to Smokey and the Bandit was Semi-Tough, an R-rated adult comedy starring Jill Clayburgh, Chris Christopherson, directed by Michael Ritchie.
Hey, we gonna get laid tonight? Probably.
Back in his gridiron element, Burt loved hanging with the jocks and putting his football skills on display.
In the end zone for a touchdown!
Filming was to start in October of '76, but Burt was suffering with some health issues that postponed principal photography.
I was down with the flu, and then I got a little strange blood pressure changing, and my longest nap was a faint. But I'm getting better now.
Part of the film was shot at the 1977 Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas.
I think it's going to be a tough film to make. Judging by the last few minutes, don't really care that much whether you're a movie star or not. So I think they're going to be hitting us fairly hard. But I'd hate to have it look like a Good Life commercial, you know.
Now, in his 40s, Burt was no longer willing to do all the physical stunts he had done in the early years, so he became more dependent on his doubles.
I hope we have a lot of doubles. I'd like to have 4 or 5. I haven't even found one yet. I see Christopherson's got 2 guys out here with his number on.
Burt again wore number 22, just like in The Longest Yard, and modeled his character after football great Dandy Don Meredith.
Now, between now and then, you can just impress the hell out of me by doing exactly as you're told.
The late, great Brian Dennehy had a role in the picture as one of Burt's teammates.
Oh, come on up here, you noisy thing.
Now, perhaps you recognize this actress.
You are having trouble.
Yes? No? I guess it depends on your age, right? I mean, this may help.
I hope Cranston's efforts as director of...
That's Hungarian actress Lotte Lenya from her show-stopping portrayal of Rosa Klebb in the James Bond classic From Russia with Love.
Lift up the tongue.
Why?
You'll find out.
Another big standout in the film was Carl Weathers, who was riding high off of his performance as Apollo Creed in Rocky.
The next time you lay in some chicken, you just place the thing on the bed. Is that for 2? You won't never have energy like that, Jack.
Some of the humor in this film wouldn't pass the Hollywood standards today for political correctness, but these were just a sign of the times.
We don't love football that much.
You don't?
We just like taking showers with...
Despite director Michael Ritchie, who'd never seen a jockstrap, much less worn one, the picture was a wonderful experience.
In 1980, a failed TV series based on the film debuted starring David Hasselhoff, Marky Post, and Bruce McGill, shown here with an awful Burt Reynolds mustache.
Oh, you do have a tiny ass. I mean, your ass is tiny. Did you ever see such a tiny ass? Tiny ass? In my hand.
Opening November 1977, it overcame disappointing reviews and made lots of money.
Semi-Tough can be an uneven comedy, and perhaps audiences were expecting another Longest Yard type football film, but this one had some great laughs and helped Burt maintain his superstar climb he had been on for several years. Burt's next film, The End, shows him with his traditional mustache in the posters. But he has a full beard for the entire picture.
I hate to be rude, but this really is an important call.
Will you kiss my ass?
The script for this film had been kicking around for almost 7 years, and Woody Allen was once attached to it, but it was Burt who was able to get the film made.
God, son
sour shit.
A twisted black comedy about death. It was black, but it was funny. Warner Brothers agreed to finance the end, but only if I would make 2 commercial pictures for them, including Hooper. They got what they wanted, and I received what every filmmaker dreams of. Total creative control on the end.
Oh my God, no! I can't believe it.
This would be Burt's second shot at directing, and also he co-produced the film.
I saw the film as a chance to say something about my philosophy of living and dying.
If I was going to kill myself, don't you think I would have told you about it so that you would have been riddled with guilt and remorse?
I'd seen few movies where before someone dies, they scream, "Screw you!"
He was able to cast the picture with several amazing actors, including Norman Fell.
Maybe we'll remove your spleen.
Robbie Benson.
You committed adultery during your marriage.
Yes, I did.
Carl Reiner.
I'm not going anywhere.
David Steinberg.
What do you say, Sonny? You like the enchilada plate here? Did you hear what I said? I'm gonna kill myself.
Joanne Woodward.
You're so dumb.
I will not be called dumb by a woman that I support.
Shh, the maid is taking a nap.
I support the maid, too.
You wake up Maria, Sonny, I will...
We fired Maria.
This is another Maria!
Pat O'Brien.
Aha! You never forget the holy water, do you?
Myrna Loy. Christy McNichol.
Hope to die?
I hope to die.
I'm glad.
I'll miss you more than anybody.
And the love of his life at the time, Sally Field.
Sonny, not now.
Rounding out the cast was an amazing breakout performance by the great Dom DeLuise, who steals the film once his character Marlon enters the picture about halfway through.
Where am I? The Nut House? That's a cruel label. We prefer Booby Hedge. See the end, you'll die laughing. It killed me.
Burt believed that Dom was totally overlooked for a Best Supporting Actor nomination because most members of the Academy didn't bother seeing the film until well after the nomination process was over.
Do you like me?
Sure.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I don't know you very well.
You know all there is to know. Are you kidding? I'm very superficial. You said it. I know I said it. Leave me alone.
Dom was able to get many great opportunities after this film and was even chosen by Anne Bancroft to star in Fatso, her directorial debut.
There's a lot of crazy people around here.
Dom was one of the great clowns.
The Polish assassin has just escaped from that insane asylum. He's very dangerous. He's a killer.
What do you look like?
He's wearing white pants, white shirt, round face, bald.
He couldn't help being a scene stealer, but you didn't mind it because it was so damn funny.
You missed him, Putz! You stop it! Hold still! It's empty!
Burt worked with Dom on many features, including Silent Movie, Smokey and the Bandit 2, The Cannonball Run 1 and 2, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, an episode of BL Striker, a spot on Evening Shade, and they all had a great time together doing the voices for All Dogs Go to Heaven in 1989.
Voice actors usually work separately, but I wanted to be in the studio in the same time with Dom, so I asked them to let us try it, and they loved it. I guess because we managed to behave ourselves for once.
Maybe we should go out and come back in again.
Dom DeLuise died of kidney failure in 2009. He was 75.
He was the best foil in the world, and I loved stepping on his foot. He was the funniest man I ever worked with. I loved him very, very, very much.
There will never be anyone like Dom. I miss him every day, and I smile whenever I think of him.
Burt was enormously proud of the end. The challenge of making a black comedy about a man dying of a rare blood disease took great courage, and the film went on to make a lot of money.
Surprise!
It was enormously critically successful on one hand and disastrously critical on the other. People loved it or hated it, which is a sign of, I think, of a good film. If not a good film, at least an interesting film.
Contrary to predictions, it would wind up grossing nearly $40 million, a wild success given its $3.7 budget.
When Warner Brothers was sent the script for Hooper, it was titled The Stuntman.
Some breakfast? Oh, God, to get that circumcised, will you?
Warner Brothers came along and said, Burt, why don't you and Hal do Hooper?
Hal Needham told him not to do it because every stuntman in Hollywood would turn on him, as the lead was the most obnoxious, big-mouth, no-talent character ever written.
What would you give for a little of that?
2 nipples for a dime.
God, Sonny, that was terrific.
No, that's terrific.
So Burt changed the script and based Sonny Hooper on Hal right down to the wardrobe.
Stuntmen have always been my favorite people in the picture business.
Sonny, will you get me out of here?
You bet you're sweet, Bippy.
Sonny, will you get serious?
No time for that.
Burt started out as a stuntman even though he really wanted to be an actor.
I did them for a long time because I didn't think I was that good of an actor. And I thought that if I was going to be paid the money that I was paid, I thought that I should take the chances.
I want to make you an official stunt dog.
I was an avid moviegoer when I was a young man. I loved movies. And it hurt me very deeply when I found out that there was such a thing as stuntmen.
It's about a stuntman who's gotten to an age where he should retire.
Every time I come to town, some young boy has got to try and make a name for himself.
And there's a young stuntman coming along that's pushing him. So he pushes him into doing the greatest stunt in the world.
The film they're making in Hooper is called The Spy Who Laughed at Danger and was clearly spoofing the 1977 James Bond film The Spy Who Loved Me. Years later, the great Roger Moore would star with Burt in Hal Needham's The Cannonball Run, spoofing his own James Bond character.
You know something, Mama? You're too Jewish.
One guy did a jump out of a helicopter, 230-some feet, which was the world record.
We're doing stunts, okay? I put Burt on the outside of a helicopter, put the helicopter way out there, and he's standing out on the strut, right? I mean, you're talking about a superstar, big, high, expensive actor, and had him come in on the helicopter and fall off and do a high fall into the air pad.
Pride is what'll kill you more than anything else or get you hurt. Your mouth overlaps your brain, and you say, oh, I can do that.
Well, when they saw it in dailies, I thought I'd be fired.
When you jump 40 or 50 feet, it looks spectacular, and if you go into the airbag the wrong way, you can break your neck.
Without causing any commotion, I want to go see the doctor.
The way you really can get up there in the big bucks is if you start inventing a stunt.
What's your fee for a gag like that?
A car roll run starts at 1,000 and goes up.
I was the first guy to take a bike into a moving car. He got a lot of money for that.
A high fall is anywhere from, say, $12 a foot and on up.
The fire stunt will start at $1,000.
Car jumps is another story.
It's the world's biggest stunt. It ought to have the world's biggest paycheck.
See how fast we can go.
Any problems with that, Bob, I should know about?
Just a lot of good luck.
Okay.
Hold all the noise, all the talk, everything quiet.
If you go with it, have fun with it, then you're going to be all right. But if you just try to play it safe, it's not going to be any good. And your adrenaline gets pumping, and you forget about the fact that your legs are shaking, and your arms are getting pulled out of the socket, and you forget about all that. Adrenaline is the lifesaver of us all anyway.
When Hal Needham directs a film, the stunts need to be perfect, and he had no problem getting in there and doing them himself.
I wanted a point of view as Burt was getting ready to slide underneath the truck. And all the stuntmen were going, I said, give me the helmet. So I went out there with my slacks and slippers on and everything, no pads, and I put the camera on and slid underneath the truck.
He's also a guy that when you do the stunt, he probably could do it better.
But what it does is it keeps the stuntmen honest. I mean, every day you look around and go, we better do this right, because if we don't, old Hal will get in the clothes and do it himself, you know. Of course, it gives the studio a heart attack.
You think we're bad? You should see that guy. Yell in my ear.
James Best, who plays Hooper's closest friend in the picture, was Burt's acting instructor from the early days and also a very good friend.
No, listen, get your hands off. You're messing up my wardrobe.
He's an older stuntman who's a little bit over the hill, and Burt sort of lets him hang on.
That's a bitch you can hit.
Best was in 2 James Stewart films and does a hilarious imitation of Stewart for Burt in this scene.
Hey, I'll do Jimmy Stewart, and you do Roy Rogers' sidekick.
Roy, you think?
James Best went on to play Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane in the popular series The Dukes of Hazzard, loosely based on Smokey and the Bandit.
We'll go together. You look one way, I'll look the other. We'll go together.
All right, let's go together.
In her third film with Burt, Sally Field again plays his girlfriend.
Gee, you never feed me a can of beer like that.
You don't shake it up and down like that.
Oh, that's very true.
But her character has more depth as she struggles to convince Hooper to quit doing dangerous stunts.
I'm quitting after this picture. I'm not doing any more stunts. I'm gonna hang it up.
I love you.
One of the goals of this picture was to show how very difficult the life of a Hollywood stuntman is.
Somebody got this still, obviously during a break. I hope this is during a break in the movie and not a scene, to show you that really you and Terry are really good friends. Is this a...
We've been seeing a lot of each other.
We may be in trouble.
Even an athlete at the very top of his game could appreciate the hard work that goes into these scenes.
That's always the shock to athletes. Terry Bradshaw, I got him part in the picture, and we have a big fight scene. In 2 days, I think he looked like he'd been in the Super Bowl without pads.
Holy shit, a fight!
His athletic ability really saved his life a couple of times.
You ain't ever gonna learn, are you, dummy?
One time he had to jump through a candy glass window and land on top of a bunch of boxes, and he got so excited that he just completely missed everything and landed in the street.
Alfie Wise, another actor with long-standing ties to Burt, plays the director's assistant, Tony.
Do me a favor, will you?
Yeah, what is it?
Would you bring me a stepladder about this high?
Yeah, what for?
I want you to climb up on it and kiss my ass. See you later, Toulouse.
Hooper wasn't the only film where Burt made fun of Alfie's height.
I'm taking delivery on my new cigarette boat today.
Oh, Oliver, you shouldn't get a cigarette boat. It'll stunt your growth.
It was definitely a long-running tradition.
Yeah, look what we got here, a miniature cop.
Hey, you look different. Where's your glasses?
Contacts.
Too bad it didn't make you look taller.
What are you doing here? This is not Little Theater.
I know people down at City Hall. Bigger people than you. In other words, normal-sized people.
You want to try for something else?
Yeah, I'm gonna make you taller. Oh!
Just to keep my eye on things, just in
Well,
case.
get a ladder. I knew they had midget wrestling matches. I didn't know they had midget boxing matches.
Any of you guys seen Hooper?
Down here, short legs.
Hey, pal. If you talk to me, stand up.
Sorry, you are standing.
Life is too short. So are you.
In this scene, Hooper shows his friends a stunt reel containing a young Burt Reynolds being thrown from a canoe, taken right from his breakout performance in Deliverance.
Yeah, now that some bitch knows how I felt when he came.
Dad? What? The language.
Oh, shit, sorry.
Ignore it. He's a degenerate, you know.
Burt is the number one, and Jan is the new kid in town.
Didn't he look good?
Yeah, you look good.
Jan Michael Vincent was perfectly cast as the young hotshot stuntman Ski, the character who pushes the older legend to perform stunts he should have avoided in his condition.
From the looks of them beer cans, I'd say you two guys were a little drunk.
Looks ain't deceiving, you old fart.
Vincent was the first choice to play Hooper. Not Sonny Hooper, but Matt Hooper in Jaws. That would not have worked as well, but Vincent went on to have a great career, highlighted by the series Airwolf that ran for 3 seasons.
And I'm learning to drink and liking it.
Years of drugs and alcohol abuse stalled his potential.
I just called my mother, and she's gonna come out here and pick us up and take us home, and I'm gonna leave the car here and go home with my mother.
I just want to be someone that people care about watching, and I feel I'm a good actor.
In 1996, he was in a near-fatal car accident and was never the same.
You know, I don't even have idea what you're talking about.
Oh, look what we got here. Howdy, old fart.
I remember being in an accident, but I remember anything about it.
He lost his leg after getting a blood disease, adding to his issues. Jan Michael Vincent died in 2019 from a heart attack at the age of 73.
Where's Mr. Movie?
Right here.
Oh, good morning. Oh, good morning, Roger.
Cold winter morning in New York, I'm curled up in my bed in womb position, having a sex dream invariably. Maybe not actually, but symbolically. Hot dogs chasing donuts through the Lincoln Tunnel. Whatever, it's a sex dream.
Comedian Robert Klein played the director in the film, Roger Deal, and was loosely based on Peter Bogdanovich, who Burt had worked with twice before.
Hooper, you can wrap for the day.
How was the stunt, okay?
Yes.
That good, huh?
Yeah.
Would you go so far as to say perfect?
Well, that's what he's supposed to be, isn't he?
These stuntmen break their bones and their nose is bleeding, and he's the type of guy that, take it again, please.
Action!
And a little more emotion, if possible, you know, that sort of thing.
Unless I can shoot this picture the way I want to, then I take a walk.
It's a wonderful part. It stands out. I'm the only one in the film with good diction.
This line was specifically paraphrased from remarks by Bogdanovich.
But films are tiny pieces of time.
Now, when I was a wee little shit, my mother took me to see Hooper in the theater and covered my eyes for this scene. Thankfully, I was able to see it on HBO several years later.
It's an unbelievable picture for stunts.
They were getting ready to destroy 72 acres of brick buildings.
There's a lot of towns that should be blown up. That's what they call urban renewal.
The climactic huge stunt sequence referred to by the crew as Damnation Alley included the destruction of a World War II military hospital in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
This is not good. It's not safe.
Bobby Bass had his act so together. He had his men so rehearsed. I'd get ready to go, and we'd do a setup where normally it would take a director 2 or 3 days to do something that we'd do in one shot.
Now, this gas station is where you'll force one of those cars chasing you to hit those pumps.
I mean, we just blew things all to hell over there. I call Hal Needham Dr. Danger. If anything is safe, he'll try to make it dangerous.
Please get behind me. Ready? Are you rolling? Go!
After most of the hospital buildings were demolished for the filming, the lot was cleared and the University Mall complex was built on the site.
This is the tag of the movie.
I'm gonna hit it.
Jumping 400 and some feet in a car across the cap, which was a silly stunt to do. They got a lot of money for it. Those guys are not here now. They're in a home.
At the 2007 Tourist World Stunts Awards ceremony, Burt was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award, not for his acting, but for his stunt work in film.
You know, I used to say if I could get a Heisman Trophy, I'd rather have that than an Oscar. I never had a problem, because there wasn't going to be a shot at either one. I'd rather have one of these. These guys that do what they do, I'm a huge fan of theirs. They're my heroes. Never wanted to be John Wayne, wanted to be Hal Needham.
Against the $6 million budget, Hooper grossed $78 million, proving once again that Burt was box office gold. The decade closed with Starting Over, a film that generated the most Oscar buzz for Burt since Deliverance in 1972.
But I'm glad we were married.
Burt plays a divorced man who falls in love but struggles to get over his ex-wife.
Sorry about the blouse.
Starring Jill Clayburgh as the girlfriend and Candice Bergen as his ex-wife.
It's gonna be harder for me, but this woman's got a right to be.
The film was directed by the great Alan J. Pakula, who had also directed All the President's Men and Sophie's Choice.
I'm doing some good pictures now with some important directors who the industry likes, and maybe that'll help.
The screenplay was the first by James L. Brooks, who would later write and direct Academy Award-winning films Terms of Endearment and Broadcast News.
Here you go. Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
Director-producer Alan Pakula wanted one of those serious New York actors in the role, but I desperately wanted it for myself.
Burt came from Florida to New York and to the theater, and I think he was, at that time, a very young man. And because he was an athlete from Florida, not taken seriously and treated rather patronizingly by people in the theater.
I'm all right. Just exhausted. I'm all right.
And nobody wanted me to play this part. Alan Pakula did not want me at all. He said, nobody's going to believe that you are shy. And I said, Alan, that is me, the other guy. This cocky jerk that I play really well is a character. It's a guy that I created on The Tonight Show.
It's been a wonderful wonderful evening. Just wonderful. Don't hurt her, Phil.
I think he feels people don't take him seriously.
I hadn't tested for a part since Rosemary's Baby in 1967. But while I have my problems, fighting for something I believe in isn't one of them. The director witnessed this fact himself. I tested for him 4 separate times.
Burt has very real vulnerability in the film, and that's because Burt has very real vulnerability as a man. He also has a kind of a wonderful, simple strength in the film, and that's also true of him as a man, very much so.
After years of being #1 at the box office, some directors might have hesitated to work with Burt, assuming he'd be very difficult to work with.
No, I didn't find him difficult at all. I find he, like all of us, has his good days and his bad days. But when he warns you, he is totally fair. Burt Reynolds is a man that if he feels he's been wrong or done something wrong, he apologizes to you. You don't find many stars doing that.
I'm sorry. Without my trademark mustache, I played my part closer to the real me than I'd ever done before or since.
There really is something very vulnerable about when you take it off. You've come out from behind a curtain.
This was definitely Burt's big opportunity to show the masses that he could do more than just perform in those good old boy car chase pictures.
3 of the scenes in the picture were actual things that happened to me that I told Jim Brooks about.
You're okay. You're full of shit. I can't breathe. I swear I'm okay.
I went through a period, a time in my life where I was hyperventilating.
Does anyone have a Valium?
The scene in Starting Over was put in there because that actually happened to me.
You're buttoning that wrong. I don't care.
I also had a terrific time working with Candice Bergen and Joe Kleber.
Don't be scared of what might come of this.
He's a very special man, very smart, and a wonderful actor to work with.
And I love Candice. And one of the most intelligent, well-educated people I've ever met, without a bit of pretentiousness.
Just stunningly honest about himself, about his fears, his vulnerability.
I need terrific. I need wonderful. I need love.
Very gentle, very, very kind.
He takes what I call a star's responsibility in terms of the other players and making sure that they feel good about themselves, that if he can help them in any way, he will help them. He's generous with other actors, and he plays with other actors. If they change their performance, he changes his.
Get the fuck away from me! I've got a knife! I'll cut your fucking balls off, so help me!
He gets very proud when other people do good work. I think it helped Candy, and it helped Jill, too.
Jill was a wonderful actress and a lovely woman. It's a tragedy that we lost her so soon.
Jill Clayburgh died from cancer in 2010 at the age of 68.
She said,
Burt has the gift of making things he's worked on very hard look very spontaneous if he hasn't even tried.
Get the fuck away from me, or I'll take this knife and cut your fucking balls off.
It's wonderful to work with committed people who really care about the film and have that kind of passion.
Starting Over was the perfect film for Burt to sort of reinvent his persona and show his full potential.
I had never played a college graduate. When people say, well, did you always play yourself? Well, you don't always play yourself. You try to find truth and something in the character that you can draw on.
if you're gonna be angry, just do like this.
There's a quote that says, we have the greatest moment of our life once. We spend the rest of our lives trying to redo it. That's acting.
Burt didn't always get along with his directors, but it didn't take long for him to appreciate Pakula's style.
I liked Alan a lot. He was a gentleman and a different kind of director than I'd ever worked with.
Aren't you a little old for this?
He likes to do a lot of takes. I don't like to do a lot of takes, especially comedy. But I remember one particular time he said, that was perfect, let's do it again. And I said, let's just print the last one twice.
That's more money than I've seen in one time in my life.
When I got into a position of making other people money, then you're able to do a starting over.
You're crying. We got the money. We got the what are you crying?
I had to go to the starting over. Starting over didn't come to me.
My ex-wife came to see me.
First time since you split?
Yeah. studio would like me very much to be in a Pontiac flying across Lake Michigan. I love doing that. I mean, that's fun, but I also would like to do One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
After losing out to Jack Nicholson for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and seeing the success of that film, Burt was hungry for stronger material.
I knew that I could be as good at light comedy as most of the guys around my age, and I thought, I'm not going to get a shot at this, and I'm going to be stuck on some television show somewhere saying, you're under arrest. I just thought it was never going to happen, and so I had to do something. I had to break out.
Hello. Oh, great. Listen, I know I promised I wouldn't call you, but this is important.
This is Marilyn. I'm not here right now.
When I did it, I thought, well, I'll probably get some recognition for this just because of the sheer difference in everything.
Burt was very proud of starting over and felt that it could really catapult him into a whole new level of respectability.
I don't know when I've hoped that so much about a film.
In January of 1980, the Oscar nominations were announced. The women in the film were both nominated. Jill Clayburgh for Best Actress.
Miss Jill Clayburgh, an Oscar nominee for Starting Over.
And Candice Bergen for Best Supporting Actress.
For her role in Starting Over, the gorgeous Candice Bergen.
Burt fell short of an Academy Award nomination to a list that included Al Pacino, Jack Lemmon, Roy Scheider, Peter Sellers, and the eventual winner Dustin Hoffman for his brilliant performance in Kramer vs. Kramer.
I wasn't surprised. It's real hard for this town, if you're #1 box office, for them to equate that with the other. It's hard for them to give both. If I had a tracheotomy this year, I think I'd have a good chance of getting nominated. Otherwise, I think it's going to be real tough. Maybe a deaf mute with a hunchback, they might like me. But they don't acknowledge the work if it looks real easy.
I'm a great believer in this particular school of acting, which is called effortless. And I worked 20 years to learn how to make it look easy. It's very easy to do what I call the constipated school of acting. It's where you let every vein show in the neck and you just, go for it with every take. And everybody says, what a brilliant actor he is. Well, he gets an Oscar in Preparation H and I get a smile.
Needless to say, Burt was enormously disappointed.
I thought that Starting Over would be the beginning of a certain kind of film that I could do and do very well. I want to have sex with you.
I don't like the way you put that. It makes me feel very strange.
I know, it did sound a little bit like Tarzan. It's just that I was trying to avoid the whole romantic thing.
I don't like that either. I hate that. But can't you just personalize it a little?
Apparently, I didn't really prove anything other than something to myself, and I guess in the final analysis, that's really all you have to prove it to.
Personally, I don't think he's in the same league as De Niro,
Shortly after the nominations were announced, Burt hosted Saturday Night Live and agreed to let the writers poke fun at his obvious disappointment.
Monday night they'll be giving out statuettes again. Candice Bergen will be there. Jill Clayburgh will be there. But every year, man, they forget you. I mean, it's like you're the Hollywood.
To add insult to injury, Burt's girlfriend at the time, Sally Field, won the Oscar for her role in Norma Ray, beating out his co-star Jill Clayburgh.
And the winner is Sally Field.
This was around the time that their relationship had started to fall apart, and Sally was not afraid to go public with her feelings.
I got mad at him for various and sundry reasons. It was very bad timing, but I've never been a person that looks back and says, isn't a good time to be mad at somebody and I'll wait till later. I mean, I just simply threw the dishes, packed my bag, and left. That's about it. And I didn't ask him to come to the Oscars with me. I didn't want him to go. Not because I wanted it to be my night. I just was like a high school kid. I didn't want to go with you. You started it, Burt. Now, I wasn't going to do this.
Against a budget of $10 million, Starting Over grossed $35 million at the domestic box office.
But I don't think I'll ever win an Oscar.
Why not?
Well, it's very seldom that the industry likes what the people like.
I thought Starting Over would open up all sorts of avenues for me in terms of scripts to play characters that were more vulnerable, more sensitive. It didn't at all. I'll just spend the next year or so having fun, making money, and doing what they want me to do, and then I'll have enough money to finance my own film and do it my own way, which is what I'll do.
I treated life like let's chew up every minute. Laughter was the best medicine. I felt, by God, I would prove that you could make a lot of money, do good work, have fun, make a lot of friends, and all that corny stuff, and still have a career.
You should drink more. Nothing hurts as much when you're numb. I think I will. Don't get up. Cheers, Sonny. And cheers to you, folks. Thanks for hanging out for another wonderful chapter of the Burt Reynolds story. Cheers. Thanks for watching. You know, Hooper is one of my all-time favorite Burt Reynolds films. It might even be up there at the top.
There ain't nothing like the life of a Hollywood stuntman.
And I love this scene where they're drinking and driving. You should never drink and drive. But this scene is a scene you wouldn't see in a movie other than in the 70s, because they're having a great time and they're doing all sorts of things that they shouldn't be doing. As a matter of fact, I picked up this soundtrack album, this record. Some of you may not know what this is. It's for old people. Anyway, Hooper, the theme, Bent Migan. I love this song. Isn't this a great song? Just listen to that. Nothing like the life of a Hollywood stuntman, right? That's a great song. And we love this film. Watch it over and over and over. Great time. It was March 1978 when Burt got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's a big honor for a celebrity to get their star. And for us Burt fans, every time we go out to LA, we always visit that star. It's one of the things. It's like visiting a relative. We go right there. Here's my latest picture from several years ago, and you know, I just love going there. There's something about being there with the star. You kind of feel close to Burt. Now, here's a quick story. My wife of many years, her mother passed away, and we were going through some boxes. God rest her soul. We were going through some boxes and pictures, and we were looking, and we found a picture of my wife with her mother at the Burt Reynolds star. Now, my wife wasn't a big Burt Reynolds fan. I guess her mom liked Burt Reynolds, but why wasn't there a picture of any other star? There wasn't, just Burt. Very bizarre to see that many, many years after. So anyway, and also Al Glasgow helped me write this documentary, and he's been my right-hand man for getting through all the facts and data about Burt. Here's his picture next to the star. So cheers to you, Al. Let's keep up the good work. So, Chapter 5 comes next, and, you know, the 70s is over, so all of Burt's big films, and now he's going to start his decline. We got to watch this through Chapter 5, and we're going to start with 1980 and go as far as we can go, right? And we're going to try and examine what happened. Where was the bad choices that he made that started his downward fall? Had a couple of comebacks, but for the most part, his films started to go downhill. A lot of bad choices, but that's what we're going to investigate and hopefully bring you the next chapter. Be sure to subscribe. Click on that bell so you get notifications when a new chapter arrives. Give me a little like, and that helps the YouTube algorithm, so maybe I can get a little bit more traffic. Very much appreciated, and you've all been great. Here's to you. Cheers. Cheers. We'll see you next time on the Burt Reynolds story. Gator out. Watch for new movie reviews and documentary series. Don't forget to subscribe and click on that bell so you know when new reviews arrive.